Neo owes a lot to Dark Souls. That's a phrase you hear all the time these days, but in this case, it's more accurate than most. You see it in everything from the demanding but rewarding battles to the labyrinthine levels full of dangerous enemies, thrilling boss fights, and abundant secrets. But Neo also boldly asserts a fresh and surprising identity with an intricately layered combat system that forces you to adapt your playstyle by the second. Neo's story functions mostly as interesting flavor for your adventure. You play a fictionalized version of real-life sailor William Adams, who becomes an almost comically inexplicable demon-slaying action hero in the Sengoku period of Japan.
You seriously follow this pretentious little prick?
I never felt fully invested in the story itself, but I appreciate the tone it sets. A quirky mix of history and fantasy that brings an unexpected lightheartedness to what would seem like an overly straight-faced action game. Neo's combat is where it shines brightest. It combines the slow-paced, position-based nuance of Dark Souls and the precise combo-executing thrill of a fighting game to create some of the freshest and deepest melee action in recent memory. Requiring an active participation in regenerating your own stamina, or ki, turns every battle into a tense game of careful calculation. Because you can see your enemy's ki gauge as well, fights are as much about manipulating their reliance on stamina as about slashing away their health bar. This is even more fleshed out thanks to a clever multi-stance system that keeps combat demanding and strategic without sacrificing style. The interchangeable high, mid, and low stances allow you to fluidly switch playstyle in the middle of a duel, to take advantage of whichever speed, moves, and abilities work best for the situation. The subtle complexities of each stance, the way they work in tandem with ki, and even their interactions with the types of weapons you decide to use reveal themselves as you play. That's made my time with Neo a constant learning experience, ripe with opportunities to hone my skills and perfect newly discovered techniques. With such a demanding combat system, living weapons serve as a nice occasional reward for your efforts. Once it's available, this supercharged period of invulnerability is perfect for shaving off the last of a hard boss's health bar or getting out of a tight spot. Thanks to intricately designed levels that are dense with a great variety of enemies, I never felt a shortage of situations in which to put my skills to the test. Neo's Revenant system adds an extra and constantly changing layer of activity to each level, by letting you summon and fight NPC versions of fallen players at the site of their deaths. But even if you ignore Revenants, well-placed and formidable enemies that respawn every time you save at a shrine ensure every encounter is a substantial one, keeping Neo's moment-to-moment gameplay exciting. Interesting levels also help avoid the lag of repetition. From wrecked and war-torn villages, to trap-filled mansions and eerie forests lurking with demons, each area is brimming with the winding pathways, looping shortcuts, and hidden secrets that make exploration a fun and important part of the journey in both main and optional side missions. Bosses have been especially impressive, ranging from ultra-challenging face-offs with swift-moving humanoids to slow-paced brawls against lumbering demons. Some fights are significantly tougher than others, but even the ones that go by quickly are memorable for their design or inventive use of the boss arena. Be aware that while it's fun and easy to summon friends to help you through difficult sections, co-op can make even the toughest boss a little too easy. Luckily, Neo's answer to that are its Twilight missions, ultra-challenging, replayable versions of missions you've already completed. Neo could take well over 100 hours if you set out to master its many side missions on top of its already tough campaign, but it's a challenge well worth taking. The way it builds on its most obvious inspirations with a highly refined combat system and an unexpectedly charming yet gritty style all its own allows it to boldly carve out its own identity, standing as a shining example of what action RPGs can be. For more on Neo, check out the first 17 minutes, the action mode vs movie mode graphics comparison, and 7 reasons why Neo is not just a Dark Souls clone.